Hey guys, so we are here with Ryan Jacobs, who bubbled at YCS Niagara. What were you playing?
I played Runick, but I played a Lightsworn engine.
Okay, very interesting. Before we start, any shout-outs?
Shout-outs to the Team Card Guild, and the guys at home from Antwerp in Belgium.
Awesome. All right, well, let's just get started with the profile.
Okay, so as I said, play a small Lightsworn package consisting of 2 Raiden, Hand of the Lightsworn, and triple Charger Light Brigade. Now, you play Charge because it mills 3 as cost, and Raiden can also mill 2 additional cards. So you're setting up a lot of quick play spells in your graveyard so that you can recycle them with Fountain and draw 3 on the first turn already. So that is pretty good. I'll be showing off the little combo at the end of the profile.
Right.
And for Runick cards, we of course play triple Fountain, Heart and Soul of the deck, triple Tip, the Searcher. Smiting Storm is something that not a lot of people would be on because it's not an effect that you actually activate. But as you can see, I'm maxing out on all of the Runick names except for the really situational ones, and I thought of all the situational ones, Smiting Storm is like the most likely to come up in my opinion and my thought process. And it has Mjolnir on it, which is awesome in itself. Triple Slumber, also one of the more situational ones, but again, one of the more useful situational ones.
Right.
You can also just activate this on turn 1 to protect your guy and trigger the Fountain, so that is good. So for the one with actual good utility effects, Destruction, the Spell and Trap Destroyer, Freezing Chains, Freezing Curses, the Monster Effect Negator, Flashing Fire, the one that destroys the special summoned monsters. So yeah, these are the good ones. These actually interrupt the opponent. I would love it if we got some more Runick quick play spells that do more of that, because right now it's this or bust.
Right.
And then the one-offs that I did not find very amazing, the Dispelling. When the opponent adds, you discard 1 randomly from their hand, and Golden Droplet, which lets the opponent draw 1 and then banish 4 from the deck.
I see.
I did include it because it's one of those cards that once you're in the late game and you really need to start milling the opponent out, this takes 5 cards out of the opponent's deck, so definitely not a bad card to at least have access to. In my round 9, my opponent was down to 6 cards when I top decked Tip for turn, so Tip takes 1 card out of the opponent's deck, and then Golden Droplet takes the last card out of the opponent's deck, so that was pretty funny. Because as you may know, this deck kind of has issues closing out games.
Right.
So usually you win games by the opponent having no more will to live left and scooping it up.
How many times did you actually deck someone out in the tournament?
Like people letting me go all the way to the end?
Yeah.
I think a handful of times. I think I won about as many games on beating people for life point damage than actually decking people out.
I see.
But yeah, people have to not let you go all the way game 1. They have to scoop, so they have more time for games 2 and 3, which is how the game works, sadly.
Right.
And for non-Runick spells, we play Dimensional Fissure. This card is ridiculous. It doesn't really hit the Lightsworn engine. There is 1 card, Coral Dragon, that has to hit the graveyard, but for the rest, it's free pickings. The one of Upstart Goblin. Double Mystic Mine, not 3. I'm a spicy man. I just didn't really feel like going all out on the Floodgates and the Mystic Mines, so it's slightly less. It's probably better to still play 3 Mystic Mine, but I'm already getting used to the idea of this getting semi-limited on the next list. So,
Right.
Terraforming to search out your mine or your fountain, and 1 Metaverse for the field spell package. And for traps, we play triple Solemn Judgment.
In the main, okay.
Yeah, very solid card. And triple, there can be only 1. Now, if you look at the current meta, you might realize that it's not very good against like Danger Tears, which is probably the most popular deck in the room, but it is good against like everything else. Against the Sprite deck, if you can open with this, you're good to go. If you open this against Mathmech or Sunavalon, yeah, it wins those matchups on its own. So that's why it was my Floodgate of choice. I only wanted to play 1 trap Floodgate. So.
Right, so how many cards in the main?
40, exactly.
Okay, great. I guess move on to the extra deck.
Yes, so we play triple Huygen.
Right.
I think you have to play 3, because in your first turn you'll be going through 1, then you'll be going through 1 to protect your cards against destruction. So if you're only playing 2, that's it for your Hugins. But if you're playing 3, you still have 1 left. Double Moonin. Sometimes the second Moonin actually comes up. That was not the case in this tournament. But Moonin is so good. It lets you gain 1,000 life points in the end phase. Every end phase. So it's not impossible to get up to 20,000 life points. And if that's happening in game 3, yeah, you're just going to win due to the time rules. Double Gary. The second Gary comes up way fewer times than the second Moonin, but still I really like having him. You can still jump block with it. If the opponent does Access Code Talker, you can bring out your Gary, because he cannot be destroyed by card effects. So Access Code has to attack over it, and then you get to pop 1 card in the field. So that is it for the Runick fusions. We play Formula Synchron for the Halky Fibrax that I play. Coral Dragon, which is part of the little combo. Desert Locust, also for Halky Fibrax, but barely ever comes up. Chaos Ruler, never made this. The level 10 synchros are Barrel on the Floor and the Sword Soul Shengying.
Okay, I'm very interested in this combo later.
Oh, it's actually quite easy. But to round off the extra deck, we have Halky Fibrax and Abyss Dweller. In theory, you can go into Abyss Dweller with your Raiden and your Getty. But yeah, it didn't come up this tournament. But still, I like having the option.
Okay.
As for the little combo that I promised you guys, so if you have, where is he? Raiden plus a bunch of quick play spell cards. You start off with Raiden, you mill cards from your deck. You use a quick play to bring out the Hugin, which is level 2. She lets you search out your field spell as well. Then 4 and 2 equals the Coral Dragon.
Right.
Then if you have another quick play spell card, you can use it to bring out the Gary, which is level 4. And that goes into Baron or Shengying and draws you a card due to Coral Dragon.
Alright, awesome.
And it went through like 2 quick play spells on its own already. That's not including the Raiden mills.
Right, true.
Let's go over the side deck as well. The reason I'm playing the Halky Fibrax is because of Naturia Rose Whip.
Alright, what does this do?
Okay, it says your opponent can only activate 1 spell or trap per turn. So the idea is that you bring it out with Halky Fibrax, which only negates the thing that it summons until the end phase of that turn. So you bring it out with your Raiden and like any quick play spell to summon a fusion. You bring it out, and then you say pass turn. Rose Whip becomes active, and if you're playing the Mirror, or against something like Sky Striker or Mystic Mindburn, this card should win you that match.
Right.
The only out in the main deck, I believe, is the Flashing Fire in the Mirror, or they can mine you. But in that case, you should have your Destruction ready to out the mine. So there is that. We play triple DD Crow. The reason for this is because the Danger to your Element deck, to counter this, either plays the Eradicator Epidemic Virus or the Spell Canceller, both of which they access by dumping it with Curious or just milling it, and then grabbing it back with the Griffin for the Eradicator or the Dugaris for the Spell Canceller. So if you keep your DD Crow for that point, you can snipe that Silver Bullet away from them.
Awesome.
Every time I opened this, they didn't go for the combo, and every time I didn't open it, they went for the combo.
This happens like that, yeah.
Of course, that's how it is. Dimensional Barrier probably wasn't insane, although if you can stun the opponent for 1 turn and then regain a controlling position from there, you should be good. Double Cosmic Cyclone. Probably should have been 3 Cosmic Cyclone, but I entered my deck list when I was super tired on Thursday night, and I couldn't change it on Friday morning. You have to have an out to anti-spell.
Right.
Anti-spell is kind of tough to deal with. Other board breakers are double Lava Golem. Cited it in a few times, never saw it, but it's probably good. The one of Pancratops. I actually beat an opponent to death with this one game. Like, at some point you just have so much control that you don't have to keep playing your Runick cards every turn, and you can just go in with Pancratops or Shengying, because Shengying is a very big guy when there's 30 cards banished.
Right. And do you prefer Lava Golem over Sphere Mode, I guess?
I think people can play around Sphere mode easier, especially if they like see it in game 2.
Right.
They can play their game 3 around it. But Lava Golem is a lot more difficult to play around.
And is the burn damage from Lava Golem like a kind of a big thing for you as part of this strategy, or it doesn't
Well,
really?
after it burns for 1,000, they still have 7,000 life points left, and that's still quite a lot. Also, this card is never going to stay on the field for 8 turns.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it could come up in time. Then for the last board breaker is triple evenly matched. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about this, but I felt like it would come up. In theory, it's quite strong against the danger 2 element because they don't end on any negations. But then again, you don't really have a lot of cards that you want to side out because then your strategy becomes super diluted.
So I'm noticing no Dark Ruler in the main or side. Is that something you consider, or it doesn't really work well?
It probably should have been there instead of like the evenly matched
Right.
to out the sprite fields. The scary thing about the sprite field is that I usually have also something in the back row to stop your plans. But yeah, probably should have been Dark Rulers. This or the barriers. Those are the cards that I'm probably least thrilled about past weekend.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for the deck profile. You know, you were so close to topping, but you know, I hope you still enjoyed your tournament experience and
last
enjoyed
round,
Canada.
My third game just went all the way downhill. I opened like mediocre against Mathmech. I opened with like Fisher and double. There can be only one, but I didn't have a quick play to spell to set, and he had the Harpy's Feather Duster, so that's good on him.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much. Any last words?
No, Runick best deck.
Okay. Awesome. Take care, guys.